Hello everyone, welcome. It's a massive opportunity to have each and every one of you here in our meeting, and we are going to be getting started immediately. So today we are going to be doing something very very spectacular. Okay, guys. So it's a pleasure to have you guys once more. And what we are going to be looking at today is we are going to be having a very close call examination to what AI means and what AI has to say in the face of in the face of systematic reviewing, because many a times now people we have this big decision to make on how to use AI safely and ethically in performing systematic review evidence. So we're going to start by sharing my screen, and what I'm going to be discussing about now is I'm going to start by we need to start today by talking about lots of things that are actually very important, because we currently find ourselves in a society whereby research is getting to be more important day by day. And what it means is that for clinicians, for individuals who actually have that passion in doing research, and particularly not just individuals who have passion in doing research, for everybody that is very much interested in having a piece of innovation out there, which is technically what research means, then it means that you need to leverage all the new methods and all the new arsenal that has already been set out to accompany you in getting your research process done very beautifully. So AI is not different from what we've been discussing, and it's tailored at making sure we show us how can we use these new technologies very safely in such a way that it is not going to impede on how much we report. So we're going to get started. So getting started, we're going to start by talking about what is AI, what's artificial intelligence, which is very simple. And many times when I talk about artificial intelligence has a very, very massive role. You definitely can define artificial intelligence in a layman's form in a way that it could actually be very simple for you to comprehend. But in the sake of a systematic review research, the division of AI and its role in automating tasks like screening, data extraction, synthesis, it's just what forms that complex body of it. So artificial intelligence, it's that process that is going to help us in automating those activities, performing those activities more faster and more quicker. And the importance of AI in handling large data sets and improving efficiency is something we cannot overemphasize. In short, a matter of fact, AI continues to be very, very significant in in the aspect of performing your systematic review. And like we always say, it's either you're in the game or you're not in the game. So it means that it's very imperative for you as a researcher out there to think of how to leverage AI, to take a very much more dynamic approach, a very flexible approach, in using what these technologies. And AI has already come to stay. So what is going to make you an expert is not how much of the it's not going to be how much of the software have you heard about, but how well can you be able to use it and how ethical can your adherence be? So why is ethics important in terms of using AI in a world that is filled with so much generative AI? Ethics is very important because it helps us to ensure fairness, it helps us to show transparency, and it tries to make everything what accountable. So means that while we are using AI to in our research, we're trying to address the bias, and protect the integrity of our systematic review process. So just think about it as entering into your chat GBT box and you want to type a question, a quote like and you want to generate 5 topics on how to do a randomized, or maybe generate 5 topics around randomized trial design, or generate 5 topics around maternal health, generate 5 topics on anything, or maybe suggest this, try to go through this, or look at this. So this is what AI, this is what generative AI is doing. But we need to actually understand in this session, how can we keep up to that ethics while we are doing what? Performing our what? Systematic review. So the objective of this training is that we need to understand the role of AI in systematic reviewing, right? And also we need to also learn about ethical consideration when using AI technologies or AI tools, because there are lots of tools out there, and it is very important for us to know how to safely use these tools. And then we're going to have jump on a quick practical steps, that we can actually use in getting started in using AI, particularly for systematic reviews. I'm going to focus on the data extraction element of doing your systematic review. How can you use AI tool like ChatGPT, generative AI tool like ChatGPT to perform your data extraction? And then we'll also get some insights into some of the tools and resources, particularly for beginners, because there are lots of resources out there. So if you're actually here and you're listening to us, then this is actually the right, channel and the right, place that you need to be, particularly performing or understanding or getting all the necessary information you need about getting started with your systematic review. So the overview of AI in systematic reviews, we need to actually look at some of the key areas where AI can actually help us, which is definitely what we talk about every day, because with AI tools coming up in almost every software, you can actually imagine you're out there, you're using your WhatsApp, you've got Meta AI, you go to Instagram, you go to Telegram, there are lots of AI bots. Maybe you're somebody that you trade, you're in a fintech app. There's still lots of AI tools or AI applications software that are actually out there, running some of these predictive models. And what we need to understand is that in the aspect of a systematic review, there are actually key areas where we usually need to use AI, because the use of AI is something that we continue to actually keep a lot of stringent rules in using it, particularly in academic research. But then it's still possible for us to actually use it safely. And some of these key areas are in terms of literature searching and retrieval. AI is very, very massive and very wonderful, as it helps us in doing what? Retrieving relevant what? Literature. Also, it can actually help us in screening. There are lots of tools that are dedicated out there where you can actually use some of these AI tools to do what? To perform your what? Your screening and your deduplication. Also, you can actually use AI to automate your what? The data extraction and quality assessment, risk of bias, because there are numerous times we need to do what? To get started performing our risk of bias using our AI what? Tools, where we put it into some of these distiller frameworks, and it helps us in doing performing our risk of bias. And actually in the extracting studies, because sometimes we might have lots of articles, but we have lots of pertinent information we need to actually pull out from all these articles. And then you find out to see that AI is actually very, very helpful in getting the information out of all these articles. And also, we can actually use AI in getting our synthesis or narrative and thematic synthesis because it in automated, getting our result findings pulled up together. AI is really very massive in that. So these are some of the areas that we use it for. And some of the benefits, we can't overstress that AI saves time and it reduces manual workload because you can actually imagine when you've got lots of work to perform, but when you automate with AI using all the right ethics, it gets to be very, very simple and easy for you to perform. And also it's also another software technology or whatever thing you actually identify it to be that helps in improving what consistency and it reduces human error because when you use an AI tool appropriately, you get to see that you reduce the chances of having what human error, and that is very massive for AI. And also, it also enables what scalability, particularly whenever we want to perform what large systematic reviews, and this is actually very very massive, guys, out there. So you need to actually you can't just wait not to get started using AI in performing your systematic review. Now the question now becomes: what are some of the examples of AI tools that we can actually use for our systematic review? And we've got the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very pertinent for all purpose writing. You can use ChatGPT, massive, massive, massive tool that you can actually use in brainstorming your work. You can actually use it to fine tune your topic. You can use it to get started with your title. And it's really, really, really all purpose because it helps you you can use ChatGPT to perform data extraction if it's done ethically, and then before you do your manual cross check. Also, we have a tool we identify to be the Ryan. Ryan helps us in screening, particularly using machine learning algorithms that are actually associated with it. And outside of the Ryan, we have the Covidence. The Covidence software is also very massive because it helps us in performing our study selection and our data extraction. And also we have the Distiller SR, which is a massive tool that helps to automate screening, extraction, and risk bias, which is quality assessment. And then we've got a robot reviewer. Also, we use the robot reviewer to provide and automate our critical appraisal. The same way we use the Distiller SR. And we have the in vivo that contains the AI plugins where we use it to do what? It helps us in qualitative data analysis for narrative and thematic one synthesis. So, hey guys, there are lots of tools, AI tools that are out there that you can actually use in getting your systematic review well enhanced. And then what are the ethical considerations in AI for systematic reviews? First of all, we've got the transparency, where we need to literally document how AI tools are used in the process. Because many a times, if you're a PhD student out there, whenever you're getting started with a PhD, you're always being asked to make sure you put a clear statement about the use of generative AI. And that is where you need to actually clearly outline the roles AI tools played in your dissertation process. And it's not different from what we do here also. It also helps us to ensure clarity on how decisions were made, particularly for the inclusion and exclusion criteria. And again, guys, it's also very important to know that for bias and fairness, this is one area of ethical consideration in AI because AI models may inherit bias from the training data, and that is why we regularly validate AI, decisions using human judgment. Because lots of times, when I actually put out my paper out there for maybe quality assessment or risk of bias or data extraction, I always do have to do it to cross-check some of the decisions it has made. Even if I put up a writing, I must make sure I cross-check some of the decisions to be sure that it's well validated. So another thing out there, guys, is what accountability, right? So researchers actually remain responsible for final decisions even when using AI. So AI, that's another ethical, domain that we actually need to check out for. So privacy and data security is also very massive because it helps us to ensure compliance with data protection regulations. When we are using what AI. So guys, you need to also keep in touch with Smart Review Network because we get to discuss all these domains all the time. So what do we do when we are getting started using AI, particularly for a beginner? First of all, you need to actually identify your needs. Why do you really want to use AI? Why do you want to use AI? What domain of your tasks do you want to use AI to support? Then you need to actually choose the right tool, which is going to be best for you. Is it going to be ChatGPT? Going to be Distill SR? Is it going to be Robot Reviewer? Is it going to be Ryan? You need these things. You need to make out this choice appropriately. And then you need to learn the basic functionality. They are very important because for you to get started with using AI, you need to actually know how to give those prompts. And in our future sessions, we're going to be demonstrating how you can actually automate your AI process using the appropriate prompt. And also, you need to pilot what the AI tools. It's very important that before you get started, you need to test how I can use the AI on this particular small data set before you actually integrate your manual effort. Because guys, remember out there, whenever you put in your prompt, just like as we're going to demonstrate today, you must make sure you cross-check. You must make sure you cross-check. And that is where manual effort comes in because AI is best when you combine it with what? With manual validation. So let's say we're trying to do a traditional systematic review and we want to actually get started with the AI flow. What's the very first thing we actually need to come in contact with? First of all, is to set up our research question, right? So we need to frame a clear research question using any relevant model, and then we'll search for literature using AI-powered tools like PubMed with very well-designed what search strategies. Then we screen our studies with Ryan, we extract our data, and we synthesize it. And there are diverse tools we can actually use in synthesizing our data, which are some of the things we're actually going to be looking at. But more emphasis is going to be placed on the thematic, also not just the thematic now, but on the data extraction process for your systematic review. So guys, we're going to just walk into a practical so I'm going to have a workshop where I'm going to import some data, then run a quick AI, test to screen some of the title abstract and get some manual decisions. So we're just going to perform that. Now, but before we start that, we need to actually acknowledge some of the challenges. What are some of the challenges? Some of the challenges we have in using AI, first of all, is what? Technical challenges, right? Situation whereby we have limited customization options, right? And we need to actually do what? Understand it. Another thing there is data quality because sometimes you might actually regenerate something and you will get another thing. So it is prone to error. And another thing you need to understand is well, some of these tools like Ryan, Covidence, some of them are paid. For you to use them effectively, it needs what? Money. So cost, like currently, if you're using GBT, you need to use the Pro version because the Pro version gives you much more features that might be very difficult for you to get on the normal what version. And that is where and that is where what that is where AI does what show some of the what challenges. Now, so we're going to get started into a very slight, practical session where I'm just going to demonstrate how we can use how we can actually use ChatGPT to perform our data extraction. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to open an AI which I address as what ChatGPT. I'm just going to open that. Now, what are we going to be doing here? I'm just going to be doing something very quick. I'm going to start by I'm just going to create a document. I'm just going to create a document here. I'm going to title this our practical document. Now, before I get started, I'm just going to show us just a little demonstration of what, just the tip of the iceberg of what this is going to entail. Now, for example, I have a research question here. I'm going to zoom that up. Now, my research question now is determinants of teenage pregnancy in sub-Saharan Africa, right? Now, what I'm going to do in this case is that I'm going to show us how we can actually use AI to automate the process, right? That's what I'm going to demonstrate live away. So to do that, I'm just going to open 3 articles that I've got to. So now I assume that I have screened, I've just done a search and I have 3 articles that I want to use. Now remember, for the sake of this session, we're just going to look at how we can actually extract relevant data from a couple of articles using what? AI tools. And now remember that my research question here is what? Determinants of teenage pregnancy in sub-Saharan Africa. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this as well. All right, so now remember, what I'm going to do now is we already have our, because so we have the 3 articles here. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and my research question here is this on teenage pregnancy. So I have article 1, I have article 2, and I have article 3. This is supposedly what? A systematic what? Review. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extract the following name. So the things I'm going to extract from those 3 articles. So I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to extract the name. That's the name of author now. By name, I mean the name of author and year. Then we're going to ask it to extract the title / objective of study. Then we're going to also ask it to extract the sample size. That's with the statistics. So what I mean by that is the number of participant characteristics. Then we're also going to extract the design. We're going to extract the what? The research design. Then we're also going to extract the instrument, or let's just call it the method of data collection. Then we're also going to extract the main findings, then the limitations. Now remember, we're just doing a very clear-cut session of how we can actually use AI to extract some of this information from these articles. And that is what it is. And now to get started, the only thing we're going to do is we're going to get into GBT. Then I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on attach file. So quickly, I'm just going to move into the appropriate folder. Just going to get in there. Title that this. Now these are the three articles. So I'm going to click on the first article. Now, if you're using the mini, it might be a bit difficult, but you need to use 4O. Then I'm going to click on the third one. Now I can actually attach as much as possible. Now these are the three articles that I've got. Now to perform just a basic data extraction, so I'm going to ask it now to extract the following from the three articles above. Now I'm just going to go back there, pick up this. I'm just going to copy this. So I just did Control C, that was what I did. And technically I'll get back there. And present in a detailed column. So this is it. So that's it. So I'm going to click on this, enter. So it's going to extract all this from each of these. So this is just a very simple approach to perform your what? Your data extraction using what? AI. So you can see it. So I could just copy that out of there. I could just place it in my Word. I could just place it there. I could just put in the borders of the table or borders. I could change the page layout so we get to see that more clearly. And that's it. So what it means is that I have now successfully what? Extracted some of this information. So remember that we talked about what manual validation. So it means that we need to now go into the first article, article 1. That should be this. Or whichever. We now have to do what? To go through the articles to ensure that all the information that we've extracted from here literally is what? It's there. So, and that is how we have gotten our what? Data what? Extracted. So I'm sure it was a very clear one. I think I made myself very clear. I don't think there are questions because everything really seemed very, very clear. So that is how we do perform our what? Our extraction, and we've actually extracted the study, so we need to actually cross check, go through them, making sure that they are correct, that they are appropriate. So what has AI done now? AI has saved us that stress of having to go through all these articles one by one. So when you look at the first article by Abiodun and Ajayi and Ajao, this is the title, this is the participant characteristics, this is the design, this is it, and that's it. So the same thing also applies to all the others. So this is just a tip of the iceberg. In future sessions, we are definitely going to be talking at length and extensively on how you should actually get started with your systematic review and technically everything you need to get more started with your data extraction in details. using AI. So AI can actually be used for literally anything that you actually want out there. So I hope you had a very great session. Yeah, I can actually see your chats on the chat bots. On the chat bots, please can actually drop a chat there. Reaction. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to have each and every one of you. So thank you very much for your time and have a nice time. Bye bye.